Hello, Eric. How are you doing?
I'm good. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing well too. Thank you for your time for this meeting. I'm looking forward to a very good conversation.
Same here. I'm honored to be here and it's good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you again after a year.
Yeah.
So can you please tell our viewers about your background? Where are you from? Where did you do your undergrad?
Yeah. So I grew up in the SF Bay Area and I was surrounded by tech companies all over the place. I lived down the street from Apple and I saw firsthand just how massive and how impactful the tech industry was, right? I mean, being around it. However, because my dad was a software engineer, all my friends are all, parents are software engineers. I was very against being in tech, even though I should have not been. I should have just been going to tech. I was very against it because I thought I didn't want to do what my parents did, right? And
Right.
so instead, I wanted to work into the finance sector, doing banking or financial services. With that in mind, I went to UC Irvine, about an hour south of Los Angeles, for my undergrad. I studied business economics there, and I graduated in 2011, around kind of the bottom of the recession or the financial crisis.
Mhm. Can you tell us something about your professional journey?
Yeah, so while I was in college, I was very interested in the mortgage meltdown. Why did it happen? What is causing all this distress? And so my first job out of school was in real estate mortgages. And I was working in origination at the time. And it was very interesting to see how things work on the inside of the mortgage industry. And I started to also notice how mortgage risk was being evaluated post-crisis. It was very strict. And also compared to how it was before. But there were still a lot of remnants of the crisis. There were ongoing foreclosures, there were short sales happening all the time around me while I was working on originating new loans. And so I spent about 8 years in the mortgage industry before the MBA program, with the majority of my time on the operations side. So managing teams that was working on mortgage underwriting, so credit analysis, working with different agents on getting loans closed, and also with client management as well, building a good client base for the region that I was overseeing at the time. So that was my professional career prior to business school.
Right. So that brings me to the next question. Why did you want to pursue an MBA?
Yeah, so I spent 8 years in mortgages. I knew everything about the industry and mortgage industry. So I knew a lot about a very narrow scope. And I went to business school with the goal of learning more about the business side of things, right? Like understanding the financial levers of a company, how that can impact business decisions and long-term strategy that I wasn't able to really see in my current field. And it's a jump to be able to move to the finance business side from operations. At the time, I was deciding between a 3-year MBA, or 3-year part-time MBA, or a 2-year full-time MBA.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided on the 3-year part-time because I had a very good career at the time. I was being, I had different roles and I had a good support network as well. And I wanted to see whether I can leverage the MBA to be able to move into that goal of being on the business finance side of it.
Mm-hmm.
So the first year of my MBA program, I worked full time, did the school part time, and I learned a lot during my MBA the first year, and I realized that I needed to really take a leap of faith. I wanted to take a leap of faith to be able to intern somewhere, get that learning experience, and then move into the business side of it. And so in my second year, I left my full-time job at Provident Funding, and I entered the MBA recruiting cycle alongside the first year full-time MBAs. And I landed just this amazing opportunity at Zillow, working on their finance team, the FP&A team on the mortgage division. Had a great time and got an offer to go back as well next summer when I graduate to be a full-time employee.
Wonderful. So congratulations on getting this amazing internship offer and now a full-time offer at Zillow.
Yeah.
So you started as a career enhancer and turned out to be a career switcher. So that's unique about your career journey.
Yeah, and it's great that USC, allows the part-time students to be able to recruit for internship as well during the second year. But we'll get into that later about the school. Yeah.
So what are your career goals now?
Yeah, so I have kind of two different career goals that I have. The first goal is more of a personal one of mine, which is to be in a position of influence when it comes to financial risk, strategy decisions in the real estate mortgage space, and hopefully to help avoid another mortgage meltdown like the financial crisis back in '08. I remember going through college at the time and I saw so many negative impacts of my peers, their families, and also colleagues of at work as well that had to be laid off. So I know it won't be my own decision to do that, but it will be an overarching goal of mine to be a voice of influence, right? On a professional and a career note, long term wise, I do want to be like a VP or a CFO in the long term for a company in the finance area. And so with that, I want to be able to really learn all the different components of finance. And so that would be treasury, M&A, controller, et cetera. And I want to be able to get a little bit of that in my next job at Zillow and kind of build my wealth of knowledge because I'm just starting out in this new field and I want to be able to learn what I can to make an impact and be in a better position in the long term.
So now, how have your 2 years at USC prepared you for your career goals? You are in the final year MBA now.
Definitely. So there's so many things at USC that help me prepare for it. I mean, I think the first and foremost part is that the career center and the different clubs on campus, there's so many clubs for finance, for consulting, for operations, right? They help provide a clear direction on what career paths or functions that are favorable given a specific background. So given my background in mortgage, what are some areas that would be like how can I navigate my path to be able to land certain positions? So that was very helpful for me to kind of build a story, right? To be able to highlight specific skills or highlight specific experiences I had before that can leverage myself into this leap of new career. And obviously, lastly, the classes also taught us specific skills, especially for me for finance, right? Skills that are important for both the interview process. They specifically go through, these things that need to be addressed for the interview, as well as things that we need to work on in the job too. They have specific classes on how to, real life experiences and how to use certain software and different things in classes or in the career field too afterwards.
Wonderful. I'm so glad that it's
Yeah.
working well for you and you are enjoying your time at USC.
Yeah, definitely.
You had started the MBA program in 2019 summer in normal circumstances. Since March 2020, all the educational institutions switched to the virtual format of instruction due to COVID. Can you share your experience with online instruction?
Yeah, so I started in person, went online for a year and a half, and then now I'm back in person. I saw the before, during, and after of online. And the online part, I think USC did a really, really great job transitioning so quickly in March of 2020 and then keeping us in that environment for a year and a half. The professors were very engaging. They would have breakout rooms for us to discuss certain cases or in a small group environment, because on Zoom with 50 people, you can't really have a conversation, but they'll actively put us in breakout rooms. They would discuss current events in the news to be able to make it relevant to us and what we're learning about. There were also a lot of advising sessions as well that was done by both the Career Center and also the program office during the beginning or during kind of the middle of COVID to be able to help us kind of navigate through this, provide us different options. If we wanted to defer the MBA for a few years until it's in person, we could. They told us what to expect for recruiting with it being online, what are employers expecting in the online environment. And so I think with that, it was great that they prepared us for it. Now, obviously, the MBA experience, a lot of it is networking, right? In person, live classroom discussions. And that part was obviously lacking during the year and a half that we were remote. Discussions on Zoom are obviously very different than in person. So that was disappointing. However, now we're fully in person and it's been wonderful.
So how does it feel to be back to the classroom setting? Can you please share your experience to be back to classroom setting?
Yeah, there's so much energy among the people that are back. There's people talking, getting lunch. It's just in the classroom setting too. There's so much live, enriched conversations that are happening, and even that though, the professors are also making accommodations as well for those who can't make it for various reasons. Whether you're sick, they encourage you to be home, and so there's also live Zoom links that we can tune into. There's also a lot of tech updates for professors to be able to see the students in the back on a separate screen.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's great. I mean, you can kind of choose if you want to be in person or you want to be online, and 90% of the class want to be in person, and they'll rather commute on campus. And lastly, there's also, we have required weekly COVID testing at USC. And that makes me feel very, very comfortable because I know if someone's sick or not, and if they're positive, they will email everyone. And we haven't really had many cases at all out of 40,000 students on campus. It's been very good.
That's wonderful that they are taking all the precautions to keep the students and faculty safe, to keep everyone safe. So do you anticipate any other changes in the final year?
The major change in the final year is that as a part of the MBA program, we have this major international capstone trip to end our MBA program, where you go to an international country like East Asia or Asia and also South America, and you do a consulting project for an actual firm. You're there for 10 days, you study the firm, you talk to the different stakeholders there, and it's just great experience. One of the highlights of our trip. It was just announced that will be canceled for this spring again. So the third year of it being canceled, just because we don't know the changes, right? I mean, international travel was so tricky. They could shut it down in a day, and they didn't want to, schedule anything and get canceled. So that's the major change that will be happening the third year, unfortunately. But I fully understand, safety first. We have other classes we're taking to make up for that trip.
Of course, this is something that no one has control over. They're
exactly. Yeah.
making this decision only for the safety of students. Looking back, Eric, what was the most challenging aspect of the school admission process? How did you approach that challenge and overcome it?
The most challenging part of the admissions process was formulating a cohesive story and having a clear objective as to why you want the MBA. The story must be genuine, because AdCom listens to probably 1,000 stories every year when they're admitting students. So it has to be real. They can tell that, right? If it's made up or it's not real. And it has to tie in with your personal and your professional life too. So that means that your resume, your essay needs to highlight specifics that tie in with the story. And you should also be able to articulate what you want to gain from the MBA experience. And I remember working with you, Poonam, you really helped me build that story, because you're able to bring forward experiences of mine that I thought were just super relevant, small things that I didn't even care about. But you've heard so many stories, what's important, that you're able to kind of extract things, right? And to formulate a story from a third party perspective. And that was super helpful for me to be able to interview and tell that to someone, and also put that in my essay as well. So I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for all your help.
Thank you.
So, but I
really enjoyed working with you.
Yeah, of course, likewise. And that's why I'm here
talking
to you.
Exactly.
And so at the end of the day, if AdCom doesn't think that their program can provide value into your career goals, or they can enhance your career goals or reach it, they may be more inclined to pass on your application if that's the case. So make sure that, whatever you want to do, the program can get you there.
Exactly. What advice you would give to prospective applicants who are facing similar challenges in the application process?
I mean, I would say the number one thing to do is to talk to either current students or recent graduates, ideally in similar fields you want to get into, whether it's consulting, finance, tech, and also in the schools that you want to go into as well, right? To be able to kind of interview them, have a coffee chat, and find out what their program can offer. I mean, learn about their story. How do they get from their previous career to the program? What do they gain from the MBA? How do they shape their career journey, right? Everyone in the MBA program has gotten so much help from those that came before them. So they're extremely willing to talk to people, especially those that want to go to their school. They want to sell their school as much as they can.
True.
And so don't be afraid to go on LinkedIn and message a few people. The worst that can happen is they'll ignore you or they say no. But I have yet to have someone ignore me in the MBA program. Everyone wants to talk. Everyone wants to share their experiences, ask about strengths and weaknesses of the MBA program and see how that fits into your goals. And then also do a deep analysis of your personal career journey.
Right.
Find out what parts you loved, what you hated. Just kind of break it up, what you love, what you hated, and what direction you want to go, and how that MBA can kind of bridge a gap to get you there, like I said in my previous comment. And yeah, I think that's probably the best way to get started and get the most candid experiences from those that are currently in it.
Yeah, that's so helpful. And now in the past 2 years, now you are also helping other people. Whosoever is approaching you, you are helping them with your experience, your guidance.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. I've gotten so much help, so it's only right that I can provide some feedback as well for future students.
Exactly. Eric, you applied to only one school, USC. How is USC the best school for you?
Yes, so I've lived in Southern California, near LA, for about 14 years now. I went to college at UC Irvine, and I've always admired USC. I mean, it has this very powerful brand around the LA area as a really great alumni association. In the rankings too, from what I've seen in the MBA program or also undergrad, it's been going up pretty quickly compared to other schools that I've been following over the last 10 years. And so it's been my dream school for a long time. And I love football. So I've always cheered for USC football living down here. So for me, it was a no-brainer to apply here, because I also wanted to stay in LA. My wife has a good career in LA, and so I want to be in LA. And it was between really UCLA or USC that I was looking at. And actually, my wife went to UCLA for undergrad, and so I wanted some of that USC UCLA rivalry, that family rivalry, which was really fun. So that's kind of on the fun side, right, of why I wanted to be the football, the prestige. But on a more serious note, I had actually 4 very, very close friends from college that did their MBA at USC before me, like 2014 to 2018 or so. And every single one of them, they were able to get into a really, really good career, what they wanted to do after USC, from consulting to asset management to big tech, Google, right? They were able to get it. So I thought, okay, USC has what it takes to take you from point A to point B. That's the main reason why I wanted to apply there. And then lastly, what I've noticed being here as well is that the network here is really great. I mean, they say it's a children family. I thought it was all just like a slogan, but it's true. Like, people here look out for another. And even though during the recruiting cycle, many of us were applying for the same opportunities, I never felt like I was competing against my classmates. We were all helping each other out to get internships or get jobs. It was more like if I didn't get it, I want you to get it. And so we're both elevating each other to try to get open opportunities. And that's what I really enjoyed about being here.
Great. Can you name just one favorite thing? Your most favorite thing about the program? I know you love the program.
Yeah. Well,
but can you name just one favorite thing about the program? What is
yes.
your most
So
favorite thing about the program?
I mean, aside from the people, the faculty, the teachings, right? I mean, I think that's kind of one thing that surprised me that I really like was that there's they have a dozen or 2 dozen of these small, they're called electronic learning classrooms, ELCs, where the school can actually record you for various soft skill classes, right? Like presentations, negotiations, or high stress team building situations. And so you can play it back afterwards and you can see how things actually transpire from like a third party point of view, not from your eyes, from third party. And you learn about your body language, you learn about your demeanor, how you speak, or, and those are the soft skills that you can't really teach in a classroom. You have to experience it. You have to watch yourself. And those are things that are so important to be able to be mindful of, going into after you graduate.
That's so interesting.
I'm not sure if you heard that from other programs too. I'm sure other schools have the same thing. No?
I haven't
Okay.
so far. Yeah. Is there anything you think you should have known before joining this program?
I would say that I wish I'd done more research on the schools, or I knew USC, I wanted to do it, but research on the MBA career tracks before starting the MBA. Kind of similar to what I said before, right? Talk to current students. For example, I wanted to work in the finance sector, but I didn't fully understand what it took to land an opportunity, say in corporate finance or investment banking or private equity or asset management. To me, they're all the same going into the program, but they're so different requirements, different level of commitment, different level of career trajectory as well. And timelines too for recruiting, like the time that they recruit during the school year is different. So I wish I had known that before. But the good thing for me is that I did a 3-year program. So my first year, I was able to learn that going into the recruiting cycle my second year. But for those that are going into a full-time program, you literally start the MBA like August, 3rd or 4th, and you should be ready to recruit by August 25th, right? You're ready to go that end of the month. And so you have to really research the different paths that are being offered in the program and what it took. So that way you're not learning during that critical few months of recruiting in the fall of your first year in the full-time program.
Right. What do you think you did well at USC?
I'm naturally kind of a shy person, especially in a large group setting.
Okay.
And so I think I did fairly well with networking and meeting my classmates during that second year where it was COVID virtual environment. I do a lot better on a one-on-one meetings and like a big, 30, 40 person networking event, I feel like. And so I made a really big effort to reach out to different classmates, on LinkedIn or on the the USC email, set up one-on-ones to learn about their journey, learn about their story, learn about their career track. And I met so many diverse individuals that I likely wouldn't have met if they were in person, because in person, you're kind of in the same classroom, you meet in the same classroom, right? Whereas on virtual, I just kind of message people and talk to them. So I think I did a really good job of being able to learn and expand my network and be able to take in what people could give me for advice.
Learning from people. Yeah, sharing perspectives, sharing knowledge, experiences, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So let's talk about extracurricular activities. Did you get opportunities to participate in extracurricular activities as a part-time student? I know you are a football lover. So did you get opportunities to pursue your hobby?
The great thing is that all the extracurricular activities are open to both part-time and full-time students. So we have the opportunity to join anything that we like. My first year working full-time, and with also the activities being on campus, it was very, very difficult to be able to drive like an hour in traffic to be on campus for those. And it was all in person. However, when things became remote and I wasn't working either, I joined everything. I joined so many clubs. I joined different networking events. I joined social events as well via Zoom, right? So it's not as fun as in person. So I took full advantage of it in my second year, and right now my third year as well. I'm a part-time student, but not working. So I'm kind of a full-time, dedicated my time. And so I've been, going to different events as well, which has been a lot of fun. Yeah.
So do you have any advice for people who are considering part-time MBA program?
Yeah, I mean, I would say if you're considering it, I would say just go for it. I mean, obviously make sure that the MBA would be able to enhance your career and build up your resume, your background. There's definitely a lot of time commitment working full time and also doing school, and so make sure you're ready for it for 3 years or 2 years, however long the program is. But at the end of the day, the MBA is very valuable at this time, especially post-COVID, where things are being more automated. It's good to have that extra leverage when you're looking for a job or looking for a career in the part-time program. Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Eric, for your valuable insights. I'm sure people would be benefited by it. Is there anything you think I should have asked?
No, I can't think of anything. I think you covered it all. These were really great questions and really captured the full experience that I went through. So that was it.
It was wonderful chatting with you after a long time, and I wish you good luck with your the remainder of USC, maybe your final year, and in your personal and professional endeavors in the future. And it was wonderful chatting with you. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you so much, Poonam, for having me. Yep.